Listening.
We up in this bitch.
Yes, we are. Happy New Year's.
We in this bitch, but we out here.
Happy New Year's. Just want to let y'all know that me and Mark brought in the New Year's among friends, and we had a hell of a good time in Destin. I was drunk as hell, but I made it upstairs. That's
the goal.
See, he didn't really get it, but when I was in my videos, I want to make it. I was determined to make it, and I did. I didn't sleep downstairs on the sofa one time, and it was three-story house.
And the blessing is nobody got a positive COVID test since.
That's true. Nobody did get positive COVID test. You know what I'm saying? And we didn't wear masks in the house, but we definitely wore masks when we left the house.
Yeah.
So, you know what I'm saying?
We trusted each other. Not to give each other COVID.
Unfortunately, we did. But we had a hell of a time, you know what I'm saying? So, before we crack this off, do you have any New Year outlook of what you think this year is going to be?
Boy, it got to be better. This year got to be better. I mean, I got things for myself. I got things that I just want to do. And most of it is focusing on me in a way where I'm not neglecting myself so that I can give everybody else what I think they should have.
You said, oh yeah, okay, gotcha. So basically not forgetting to, like prioritizing your own interests and your own.
Yeah, man, because listen, man, if I'm gonna be that person in the family, I can't be that person. You can't fill up a cup while pouring the same shit out.
Facts.
Or more, because the reason that people lean on you is because of your strength, and if you don't invest in your own strength,
you're eventually gonna come
right. And guess what? Once you done, once you done, a nigga gonna find another nigga.
That's a fact.
That nigga looks strong.
Man, you always been like a big brother to me, bro.
So at the end of the day, man, just prioritize. Like I've been prioritizing my family, but now it's just the prioritizing of myself, because I don't know if y'all can notice, but my cheeks got a little big, and this hoodie got a little smaller since earlier last year. So I gotta
prioritize health.
Yeah, I'm gonna put up a progress report.
Okay. That's what you're gonna do? You're gonna do the public accountability thing?
I ain't doing all that.
I'll be like, progress report.
It's gonna be like,
you ain't checked in.
What it is, you be like, you disappear for a little bit, you come back like, now they gotta speculate if you done spent money to get that shit done.
That's fact. That's a fact. I think for 2021, for me, I think not even just me, I think the whole outlook of it is gonna be very interesting, because we have the House Democrats, Congress Democrat, the president themselves is Democrat. Everybody is big people who've been on all black platforms. They got that Cousin Black platform. And now we are truly in power to make the changes that's been promised to us, make the changes that we've been demanding. And on top of that, I feel like this is gonna be the year that black men really step out of the cove, start speaking our mind more, and stop allowing just other groups to have a dominant place in the social media spectrum. I think a lot of black men, leaders and figures are gonna come out to really get this shit straight. And not even in a combative way, like I'm getting even with you way, but more so like, look, we gotta get this, we came to straighten shit out. Let's get everything straightened the fuck out, because we got bigger issues to focus on. That's what I think this kind of year is gonna be for black men, black guys.
And that's my hope, because as when you are in it, you see the narratives and the dynamics between men and women, and it might seem, you might feel the power of black men within our community, but externally you don't. When you see the influence of black men in society outside of just the African American community, it is dim. You know what I'm saying? I do think black women do a good job at as much internal conflict that it seems like it happens. A lot of black women lift each other up, and I think in 2021 that's what black men need to do.
Lift each other up and lift up black women.
No, that's a fact.
Yeah, I think one, I think a lot as men and black men, we realize you can't really do one without the other. It's not up for us to play a tit for tat game. Because they only lifted up black women, then we're gonna need to do something for only black men. Nah, we gotta understand these are all joints working together, for this whole community to move forward. So it makes no sense for us to be the strongest and us to be the best without the other half of us being as strong and being as best too. So
yeah, I'm not a rising tide lifts all boats type dude. I'm like every group and subgroup needs to be spoken to and dealt with directly.
Right.
I'm not like if black men come up, the family come up, or if black women come up, the family come up.
Right.
I think that when you target individuals and their needs, you start realizing that the needs are different. Black women need something very different than black men to thrive. And
I think also too, I don't like to say we need something different because we're both really the same human being. We really have just small differences that make us men, that make us black men, that make them black women. It's really the small difference. Even in our issues, it's really small.
But when I say the difference is, you still got to think about the way that I can't come to you with an issue and a solution the way that I come to
right. Big facts. Facts. But the fact that the crux of those issues could be are still very similar to the
I agree with that shit completely.
Yeah. So that's what I want for myself. Is more so personal fulfillment of just personal tasks I want to continue to grow out of, grow into. Yeah, man, I really want to. I feel like I'm on a great track already, doing a lot of great things, a lot of dope things. I definitely want to take my health more seriously as well, and I definitely want to. I want to continue dating me, continue, loving me, continue rediscovering myself. It's fun. It's interesting, man, because it's like you get to this point where. You just, it's like you want the love, and at the same time, you appreciate the distance.
What I see with you is that you are, because you're not at a point where, and this happens in our community, when you get out of a point where you're struggling, you start realizing how much opportunity you have and your own potential.
Right.
And so when you get an opportunity to explore without, you get an opportunity, and your decision making is changing.
Absolutely.
You have the difference with you is like my decision making changed because I had a kid.
Yeah.
Your decision making changed because financially and intellectually you started leveling up.
Right.
And that's just the maturation that came with it. Because I was a low key surprised when you was like, I get that you wasn't dating, but when you was like, I ain't investing in no women. And that romantically, I was like, oh shit.
Hey man, I listen. You know what I'm saying? Eventually I'm gonna listen, you know what I'm saying? Eventually I'm gonna listen. But yeah, I mean it's really taking the place where it's like I feel like I got more control this time. Like I see more this time. I'm actually applying more of the wisdom this time and being patient. Like it's so much gifts and beauties and jewels and growth and just patience. Like understanding that you can be the right guy, you can say the right things, you can do the right things. It just may not be your time. You can't control that. Just understand, just when the opportunity and the time comes, you be ready for that. But other than that, you can't force it. You know what I'm saying? And I've kind of made peace with that, and continue to make peace with that. So right now I'm just enjoying myself. Like I said, it's been a beautiful experience of really getting to know me, again, really getting to just invest. It's like, it's dope, man. It feel good loving yourself, man. It feel good as hell loving yourself. I'm gonna be honest, man. I know I sound like a goddamn, I know I sound like a girl who strip part-time and read Maya Angelou quotes and shit. You know what I'm saying? And still comment in the Shade Room post, but that's what I feel like, bro. Like, it's like, damn, I'm getting right, bro. It's great not to be driven by the lust of women.
Well, and it's good to see because it makes it clear that like whatever your next decision regarding women is gonna be a clear decision. And a lot goes to
you and therapist V and a lot of my other friends too is y'all pouring into me and being there for support and guiding and not not thinking less of me because of mistakes that I will make, and you know what I'm saying, and being patient with me too. So having a great support system is important.
Well, and the thing is,
and my family too.
When it's different than it's a difference between, and I think where people can get critical is getting critical about where you are, and not. I have the luxury of seeing the journey.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying. I think when we met, we was like 23.
Yeah,
24, 23, you know what I'm saying?
Man.
So,
man,
when you see it,
one day we got to talk about where the hell we thought we were going to be at 23 compared to who we are
as smart as we thought we were, and
the most enlightened motherfuckers in the planet.
Right. You still don't know your blind spots all the time.
Hell no, man.
And that's what life is.
Driving just fast at day.
Right. And what you see in life is when you start looking around and being able to observe your own blind spots, and not and sometimes you're gonna keep walking into those blind spots or driving into those blind spots, but when you see the point of recognizing them and being able to overcome them, it becomes enjoyable, and you can look at somebody outside of where they are,
right?
And I was like, man, you don't know who that person was,
right,
and what they've had to mature past for them to even get here. So you can just appreciate that and you can support it because in that amount of time, we still know people in the same space.
Mm-hmm.
We know people that's doing the same thing that they was doing in 03. So to see somebody and to be able to grow with them and have a separate maturation and then have a similar maturation is a beautiful thing.
It is, man. It is. I think that's the beauty of having long-lasting friendships, is that you both get to see each other's growth. You know what I'm saying? And then get back to look at old videos or old pictures and be like, damn, I remember when I didn't remember.
From the cruise.
Oh, my God. All right, well, let's get to this point, man. Let's go ahead.
So what we really discussed today is it's hard to live in the climate we live in, and really not.
Oh, by the way, I want to say, I showed a chick our Instagram today for the podcast. She was like, oh, and as she looked at some of the videos, she's like, oh, I like intellectual, but real chill. I really like that. So she gave us a compliment.
Hey, shout out, tell her to comment, subscribe, love the post, save it.
So I'm gonna
turn into one of them niggas. Hey, how you all doing? Make sure you like this video. Make sure you like, subscribe.
I know what fuck them they had Stephen A. Smith doing that. I was like,
hey, Stephen A. be working.
Them motherfuckers on NBC doing the SNBC doing. I was like, God damn.
Stephen A. give me the courage to take this hoodie. I'm joking.
Hey, him and Chico Beans, man. You back in action, man.
What we want to discuss, it's hard to go through what we are, it's hard to live in this country at this time, especially within the last few days, and as a Black person, not identify the reality that there's two Americas. Mm-hmm. And what I like is that you see it within white public figures too. When I heard Doc Rivers speak, but then after that, I heard Greg Popovich speak.
Okay, I heard about his. I didn't watch it, but I heard about it.
And so when you see people who have a certain level of awareness, this is all Black men and Black women are asking for, which is for white people to gain this level of understanding and awareness. Mm-hmm. And for some reason, it seems like white people can always justify white action. Mm-hmm. That's the reason we still have Confederate flags flying, because white
flew one even in the Capitol building.
And white people find ways to justify things that are toxic and hurtful and have a history.
To every other group.
Right.
Every other group but them.
And have a history of hate that everyone else besides them can see.
Dr. Malcolm X always said, them chickens gonna come home to roost, baby. Them chickens coming home to roost. It's like that, and I get it. There's other groups too, but this is a Black ass podcast, so we focus on Black ass issues.
Black ass podcast.
So there's different phases and sides of America, depending on your group. But we're talking about the two different sides, the Black side and the white side. And on this Black side, it's like, you get to this point where, a lot of whites think that, we get on these issues and share our gripes. Nah, motherfucker, we get on these issues to build a voice, to cause attention, to make change, and oftentimes to empower our damn selves.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, a lot of this time, it's always to remind us of how, diverse and eloquent and masterful in speaking and articulation that we are, as well. and it's to send a message to other blacks who are listening. You know what I'm saying? Whether it's a motherfucker working a kitchen busboy or a motherfucker that's working on Wall Street, you know, and listens to us or listens to a radio station or podcast or whatever, he see a black prolific person speaking on his way to work in the morning. So it's like, you know, we talk about these issues because we always want there to be like a measuring point or a place in time where you can be pinpointed. You're like, well, damn, they did say this was the issue. So when the issue actually arrives in the near future, you're like, well, damn, they did say it was this X, Y, and Z.
Well,
you know what I'm saying?
I'm gonna say it's a sense of pride that you have to have in and among blacks. That the level of resolution and the level of resilience we have, because if white people, if a tenth of the things that's been done to Native Americans, to African Americans, to Africans, if a tenth of those things had been done to white people, we would see much worse than what we see now.
Hell yeah, ain't no if.
We talk.
If there's history, there's historical evidence.
Niggas had a tea party for tax. We haven't.
When the fucking I forgot what during the during the peaceful protest last year, when the black kid got way more, his charges were way more severe for the same crime that a white kid committed, both nonviolent crimes, by the way, but they committed the same crime during the peaceful protest. But the black kid, same record, criminal record, and the black kid had literally more time than the white kid. Like, those are the different. You can easily look at our prison systems, look at our school systems, look at even our political structure, look even at our corporate enterprise business systems, infrastructure. It's easily visible to see the difference in who are in charge and have the power predominantly and who aren't. It's easily noticeable. Even if you go in most suburban communities in America, hell, you can go to the bank and pull up records of by race. Where's the money?
Oh yeah.
Who has the most money? Who's having money problem? Blah blah blah. You're gonna. It's parallel. It's easy. So, you know, that is the two sides of America that we're talking about. And at the end of the day, white people are actually very lucky and fortunate that we don't want superiority and that we don't want revenge. We just want equality. We literally want, no matter what all the bullshit you put our ancestors through and put us through, we still want to have as much. We want you to have as much as we have, and we want other groups to have as much as we all have. Equality.
Yeah. I think that the strategic thing that white people did was painted blacks and Latinos as the worst.
Yeah, dangerous.
The worst. Mm-hmm. And what the worst does is we as black people fight amongst blacks and Latinos to say, I don't want to be the worst, you the worst. So we're not going to come together. And then you got other races and other diasporas, Asians and even Africans don't want to be associated with us. And that's a reciprocating factor for the most part. Mm-hmm. But even Asians, they come here as non-citizens and look down on us and say, we have to stay away from the worst. Mm-hmm. And so what it does is stifle.
But they'll come to our communities and make this money.
Absolutely.
That'd be the interesting part. They don't want to socialize with us. They don't want to invest in our communities, but they want our goddamn dollars.
But you also got to see the way that they come into our communities. Yeah. They come into our communities for money, extra cautious, right? Yeah. They're more likely to have bars on their window. They're more likely to have plexiglass because they don't want to interact as much. Granted, there are dangerous communities when you take into consideration economic deprivation.
Them shits ain't as dangerous
but those
as the countries that they're coming from,
goddamn right, nigga. When you can't speak on the government.
Right.
But and this is what conversation that I hopefully one day Black Men and Cigars is gonna have and reach across and have this conversation so that we can really talk and ingratiate ourselves and our points with other individuals and their perspectives.
And at the same time, this is a great time for Black men. You know what? One thing I'm appreciative of, that Black men are literally following the lead of a Black woman, Tamika Mallory. Black men, I've seen black men, countless black men share her posts, speak on her, praise her, buy her books. I'm definitely gonna buy her book that just came out, by the way.
Well, not even just her, Stacey Abrams.
Stacey Abrams.
Stacey Abrams.
Shared her post. That's a fact.
Is motherfucking
Stacey Abrams.
She said, "Bro, you can have it."
It's so cool that we're in a time where we've grown to a place where it's like black men. We appreciate black women being in charge in different areas because you ain't got to be a black man that got to lead everything. You know what I'm saying? It's great to know that you got somebody comparable to you that's able to lead in areas that they're strong at.
No, fact.
You know what I'm saying? And I think that's the beautiful part of where we're at currently is that we understand that when one group of us doesn't win, we all don't win. That's a fact. You know what I'm saying? So that's the beautiful thing about it. And I will say, you know, I had a conversation with a chick and she talked about, I told her about my gripes I had with Black Lives Matter. And she told me something cool. She said, you know, I'm looking at it too calculated for some.
Right.
Whereas I should be looking at it for what it's worth.
Right.
You know, it's unfair for me to put the burdens of Black America on Black Lives Matter, the organization.
Right.
Because the message is more important than the execution by the organization.
Because most people follow the movement, not the organization.
Civil rights movement, and then what was the name of the Dr. King SNCC?
Oh, I can see.
Yeah, they were that was the actual civil rights organization.
Right.
That was pushing the
well, when you look
movement.
back and when history looks back, they're going to see Black Lives Matter as a movement that pushed African American issues to the front. When they talk about these Marxists and things like that, let's be honest. Most Black people, even the intellectual ones, don't fully grasp those concepts. We're more so behind the notion that Black lives we're literally behind the title. So, and we're pushing the narrative that those things matter.
Right.
We're not having, as a group, as a national group of Black people, we're not pushing agendas that are specific to what's on Black Lives Matter's homepage. You know what I'm saying? No more than if you support Joe Biden and you're for everything that he has. Right. So you have to take certain things and say, as a concept, can I get behind this?
And I think that's what a lot of Blacks who are kind of like stuck in the fringes of it all have to understand and accept. There's not going to be one Black leader, one Black person, one Black group who's going to encompass every idea that you believe in.
At all.
Take up bits and pieces from who and who and who, add it all together, and execute on some shit. You know, get some things done. You know what I'm saying? Participate, support other different entities, Black entities. Meaning support them not only socially and verbally online with your shares and your comments and your likes. No, monetarily, donate, invest in these organizations.
Volunteer your time.
Volunteer your time to serve to give services with these organizations. So yeah, it's not, the goal at the end of the day. When I was doing a lot of coaching, I was using the model of nature as an example. There's nothing in nature that's so dominant that it's the all-being entity. Nature is diverse. It all works because of diversity. That so much also has to be Black Lives Matter. You know, the Black commitment is that we're dedicated to Blackness, and Blackness is not monolithic.
Yeah, that's absolutely.
And at the same time, we have to understand that you are going to be offended. Some of your beliefs, some of your ideas are going to be offended by Black people and Black issues. You know what I'm saying? Like just because Black trans group or Black gay men or Black whoever has their issues, yeah, some of their beliefs may go against some of your principal beliefs, whatever, that's fine. But as long at the end of the day, as long as the whole entire agenda is about Black lives first, that's what it should all be about. We can always work on the little idiosyncrasies and the little differences that we have among each other to work and resolve. So all of us can have a peaceful coexistence. But don't get deterred and say one person ain't Black enough to qualify to support Black Lives Matter, to be a part of the movement because their core beliefs doesn't completely identify with yours. I think that's whack as hell.
Yeah, I agree with that. Especially when Because you got it where, well, what do you say when you say black? Because there's this thing where black men or black women issues are always pushed to the front, and other subcategories of black people, homosexual men, trans women, people under the LGBT umbrella. You know, what do you say to those individuals? Black people who have mental health issues tend to get pushed to the back as well. What do you say to those people who voice their frustration with always being the last person to get the scoop of food when it comes to handouts?
That's a fact. Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, everybody want to eat. You know.
And then the question that those subgroups have is, when is it going to be our turn?
Right. Well, that's the thing. We can't get to a place where we have to become too picky at thinking that we're supposed that there's supposed to be a first, last, third, and whatever.
Well, you always see yourself like the black people, right? If we asking when are these, because we do it. Let's be honest. When people took issue with Barack giving money to Holocaust victims, and this rising tide lift, but when it comes to us, it's a rising tide lift all boats.
But everybody else gets a priority, right?
Right. And I had a conversation with one of my homegirls, and she was saying, when they start handing out money, when they start alleviating the debt and eliminating debt, they push the narrative like, oh, this is going to help black people. Actually, this is going to help most people, and then black people get a little trickle down portions of it. And it might also cause a wealth gap. So black people scream out, when are we going to be prioritized as a group individually, like you prioritize Native Americans, like you'll prioritize.
But I think that's what I'm saying. I think because at the end of the day, I want blacks who have differences among different black groups to understand that it's okay to have differences and still be active in the progression.
I agree.
You're not supposed to like everybody. Hell, many parents don't even like all their goddamn kids equally.
Yeah.
This is like all kids don't like their parents equally, but you still work together towards your goals cohesively. You know what I'm saying? Without having to terminate the other group. You know what I'm saying? Right to exist. So that's what I want us to more so, really work on this year, going forward, is working despite of the difference, progression despite of the differences, because unity above all is the strongest.
All right.
You know what I'm saying? So, but yeah, two sides of America. And I ain't explaining shit to white people. As far as like a lost white person who like, well, I don't understand. Well, goddamn, it don't matter. It's almost that get down and lay down shit that I feel is state property. It's like, I ain't got time. If you're really open and honest to a conversation, then I feel that you're going to invest enough of your own time and interest to go out and learn the information, and then come to me with some quality questions. I think when you come with some general shit, I ain't got shit for you. We moving along. We progressing. You either getting on this motherfucking train or you gonna goddamn be left behind. That's how I feel.
I'll say this. I start with the human first, right? Building that interaction as a human first. I usually don't meet people talking about black struggle.
Right.
Unless it's something or an environment specific to that. But I found myself when I was in my master's program, I found out that I had
just had to throw that master's.
No. I had code. I wasn't myself. I wasn't myself, right? I had code switched so much. I remember one day I drove off playing some hood ass music, and they was like, "What?"
Oh, good.
They told me the next day they didn't even think I listened to rap because I usually don't speak. Like, I don't know. I was feeling good. It was a Friday. I was feeling good. I had it blasting on the way in, and I didn't turn it off. So I get in the car, the shit still blasting, and then I found myself. Like, oh, y'all niggas don't know me. But these motherfuckers used to hang out with me all the time, invite me out, boom, boom, boom. They didn't even realize how black I was. And I realized after a while, I don't have to push my blackness on people, but I do need to always make a conscious effort because I got to make a conscious effort to give people the understanding that I have. Right. But not be overly understanding to where I compromise myself. So when you say I'm not explaining shit to nobody, to me, I find most of those times an opportunity to
That's fair.
to speak my piece, because no matter how much you read, we have the luxury of being so black that black shit just pop up on our timeline.
That's a fact.
And we in a black ass city.
That's a big fact.
Even in this black ass city, it's white people who don't see black shit across their timeline. So when you say go look it up, you start talking algorithms. Google ain't gonna pull up the blackest shit you can find.
I feel. Listen,
I'm
gonna
tell a nigga.
there's certain people who got tolerance for it. Y'all come to Mark, goddamn. White people, I'm gonna direct you towards Mark.
Man, I don't know why you acting.
If you're
white people love your big black ass.
It's cool, you know, because I'm cool, you know what I'm saying?
Oh, and you tolerate shit, because when we was coming back from
what?
When we was coming back from Florida, what the white woman say to you? When we walked into this shack of a barbecue
what
house.
What football team do you play for?
She asked the nigga, do you play for the New York Giants? We are in Bumblefuck, Alabama.
At Barbecue House.
That shit was off the side of the road. Facts. Nothing else, no gas station near it, nothing.
Facts.
And she asked my man if he played for the New York Football Giants.
That's a fact.
The first question she asked.
Yeah, but I get that all the time, not just from white people.
It's like disrespectful.
It is disrespectful. It's like, damn, you think a big nigga only
that means
exists on this world?
If you was sports, if you was born like a generation after slavery, they would have asked you your family names. You was one of the Johnson boys. So fucking disrespectful, bro.
Yeah, bro. So I mean, listen, and what I tell her, I ain't had time to explain to her. I was just like, all right. I was like, yo, I'm with the Giants.
Tolerant.
Yeah,
because
I'm tolerant, but I ain't got anybody to sit here and do this whole thing. Think what you think, baby. I guess, you know what? I'm probably be one of them old ass black men that's gonna probably be just mean as fuck.
Oh yeah, I got me a rocker set out. Me, I need a porch just so I can look at your children and tell them they ain't shit.
He disappointed.
Tell them I ain't even gonna tell them get off my grass. I'm gonna say don't come near my grass. But so
that's why you and your mama never can't grow grass in your yard, because y'all too many kids walking in that grass.
Piss your ass off.
Right, I'll be. I can't wait till they got them shit.
And look at you jumping in your jeans. Can't even play basketball. You jumping in your jeans.
So yeah, like I said, everybody got everything tolerant for everything. Listen, I fuck with white people. They know that. They fuck a lot of them fuck with
especially white women.
I do fuck with white women. I definitely want you to know that as well. I prefer to marry a black woman. You know what I'm saying? But in the meantime, since I ain't on a journey for love right now, I am definitely
oh man,
throw the bait. You know what I'm saying? But
we losing followers.
Oh shit. Hold on, black woman, don't go to the shade room. Hold on. But
he's gonna find this about 12 years from now.
All right.
It might be canceled.
Right. Oh, what if I do end up marrying a white woman? That'd be crazy.
Oh yeah, all of our
look at me. I'll be explaining this to my biracial kids.
All of our I just wanted the best for you.
I was just in a different place in my life. But
couple trips gonna be fun as hell if you get you a goddamn
white. Oh God. I already know she gonna say
she gonna volunteer to cook some shit. No. No.
You know it's better. Teresa say hell no.
You guys want some pumpkin pie? No.
I'm like, that shit actually good, bro. She be putting a little nut in
it. What Bernie Mac said, I never had no pumpkin pie.
That would be hilarious. But nah, hopefully it's a black. Anyway, you know, the thing is too, I also want, you know, the black youth to understand that their voice is considered too. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Their voice and their concerns are definitely considerable too. You know, I think a lot of the time in the past, you know, the youth would be outcasted because we feel like they don't have wisdom and stuff. But they're actually the soldiers they're the first soldiers usually in the marches, on the battlefield. You know, like they're ready to
and they drive our culture.
Yeah, they drive our pop culture. So, you know, we have to consider their thoughts and ideas and opinions too.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It can't always be, we are the old elders, we are the leaders, we are the ones who speak, and you always listen to us too, just on authority alone. That's not how we rock it.
Let's move over to the actual events that have been going on.
Oh yeah.
Because
motherfuckers was playing Medal of Honor at the Capitol.
These niggas was scaling the buildings, playing track and field with high jumps.
Yo,
I was dead when I seen these quadriplegics.
Yeah, bro. You saw that little arm up.
I'm trying to figure out, how do you get it? You let somebody storm a building.
How the fuck you get up the stairs?
You let somebody storm the building through a ramp.
Ain't that some shit? If that ain't white privilege,
all you
right
gotta
there,
do is this.
it's fucking 148 steps going up goddamn Capitol Hill. You let these motherfuckers storm the building
Like
off a ramp, right? Going goddamn 3 miles an hour.
That's how you storm the building.
Right. Like,
and some of them had to blow in the tubes because they ain't had
bro. It was fucking nuts, bro. It was like, it was like, you know, when they were able to sell that podium on fucking Amazon.
Oh, they sold it already?
I don't know if they actually sold it, but it was up there for sale.
Posted.
And he posted it on Facebook Marketplace. Like that type of, if these look, I'm gonna be honest with you.
We got FBI.
This
is CIA.
This is the same type of shit that you would see black folks doing on Boondocks. But it's literally white people. Like
we get criticized for looting. First, we get criticized for looting.
First off, the media didn't even want to call them a riot first.
No, hell no. They
protesters. Protesters storming the building. Yeah, it was all. You didn't hear one mention of thugs, fucking terrorists. You didn't hear none of those things, those connotations that would have been easily attached to blacks, or hell, let it be some goddamn Arabs. Let it been 10 Arabs. Oh God, we would have made a country.
And they still had, some of them had guns, some of them had bombs.
Yeah, bro.
You know what I'm saying?
They found weapons. They found actual weapons.
People getting killed and all that.
But
the most critical.
That was the hurtful part, is that when the Capitol Police officer had died, bro. That shit was sad to me.
It's crazy because you see them opening up the gates, letting them through.
Yeah, because they couldn't deal with them forcing themselves inside.
What it is, and this is the honest truth, and this happened during slavery as well. When white America sees the harshness of humanity that happens to other groups placed on them, it's unacceptable. It's outrageous. We can't tolerate this as a country. That's when it becomes but we still can't. Now the problem is we still don't see have that same sentiment towards the people we don't have that type of reverence for. They don't have the mirroring image of us. This motherfucker came from Knoxville to storm, and she got maced and she was crying. And you see that woman put her hand in that black woman's face and she stole off on her?
Oh yeah,
and now all of a sudden the black woman wrong.
I was like, God damn, she got hanged.
But the biggest difference in the biggest disparity that you see is the cop that shot that young man in the back. That became
saying because he had the knife and everything.
Right, but he's running away and he gets shot in the back. But you can storm a whole Capitol building. Yeah. Damn, they're taking shit
with weapons,
sitting at the vice president's seat, sitting in
taking a selfie with the fucking cop, bro.
Come on, bro.
Took a selfie and filtered the photo.
And the cops helping them down the steps.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying.
This is very much a mass example of like the Dylan Roof situation.
Listen, I want everybody about to face federal fucking charges.
They're just now starting to
federal
arrest these people and do these things.
Federal charges.
But they would have had zip ties and nooses.
Exactly. Oh man, they would have had on deck.
It would have also been
it would have been a military met us there, like on site.
And it would have been an anti-black movement there with the police.
Yep. And you're supposed to respect them, but look how they treated their police. They beat them up. They killed police.
But in the words of the exiting president,
and then exiting president,
these are very fine people,
special.
Well,
special people.
For one incident, these were fine people,
right.
And now they're special. But this is something that he incited. He threw the rock. Well, he said, "I want to throw the rock.
We love you.
Let's go throw the rock."
But when motherfuckers was in Chicago protesting, and they were Black Lives Matter. Oh, these thugs sitting in the National Guards, we're sitting in the military.
Oh, them National Guards got here. When Black Lives Matter was doing this, them National Guards pulled up beside me like, man.
When I knew it was real, I was in South Florida and I saw the National Guards on bikes, nigga. I said, God damn, never seen them on a mountain bike. Them motherfuckers came out the woodwork.
And the reality,
them motherfuckers look so cool.
The reality is, again, Black people are not asking for anything more than a sense of equality. Not these little nuggets that people want to drop and say, look, we done did this for you.
Right.
No, we want something that we want the system in itself, which we understand.
We want equality, bro.
Man,
hands fucking down, bro.
Man, it's so
we want fucking equality across the board. The equal access of opportunity, of success, of growth, of protections in this motherfucking country as white people, period. Because they have the highest in this motherfucking country. And everybody should have the same level that they have. Everybody that's paying the motherfucking tax should have the same motherfucking access and privilege that they have in this motherfucking country. Their privilege is tumbling down. This is the year of the white privilege tumbling fucking down.
I don't agree.
That's what I call it.
I don't agree that white power will allow white privilege to be dismantled.
Watch what I say. At this point, you have no choice. At this point, you have.
Why do y'all act like this is the worst thing that's ever happened in our country?
It's not the worst thing,
right?
Like, what you're acting as if this hasn't been the least power that white people have had over our country in a long time. Because you got to think about it, they literally don't control the media anymore. They don't control. Just to have media come, they don't control the media. Look, a white person can't even get on a teleprompter and make any accusation towards gays.
What we're talking about what you're talking about is there's no singular media source that controls it.
Exactly, that's what I'm saying.
However,
of power.
I'm gonna tell you how white people control the media, right? When Black Lives Matter started trending upward, it was these Karens and this anti-Black Lives Matter. Those created an overrush to drown out the narratives of Black Lives Matter.
Those are the groups. I'm not saying there's always not going to be naysayers. I'm not saying there's not going to be backlash. What I'm saying is this is the most opportune time in American history where power isn't strictly or solely in the hands of white people and white elites.
I think the narrative isn't.
I think, that is what white elites want you to believe. They want you to believe you're not as powerful as you are. They always wanted it, and that's how they always trick you and keep you captivated.
In what ways is power in what ways is power exemplified in our culture?
And our culture, you have cultural power, but you also have economic power.
Right.
White people still possess the most of economic power without a doubt. But I'm saying a lot of that is changing.
And white people just got rich. More specifically, Jeff Bezos.
He's not white.
What is he?
He's Mexicano. He's adopted. You know that. Bezos ain't even a fucking white name.
Jeff Bezos.
He is a Mexican. He is Mexicano.
What's Jeff? Jeff ain't no Mexican name.
He was adopted, dude.
Right. So they just left him with the last name Bezos?
I don't know, but Bezos ain't Bezos. No, but I know.
What's Elon Musk?
He's Canadian. He's not even fucking American.
He's still white. If a Canadian come over here, they ain't getting white privilege.
Of course they are.
So what we talking about?
Jeff Bezos.
What we talking about?
Jeff Bezos didn't grow. If he never grows his hair out, and never he changed his last name to Jeff Switsinger or some shit like that, you would think he was a white man.
Man, Jeff Bezos had the same white privilege that a lot of these white men have.
But he ain't white. That's what I'm telling you. That's
man.
a fact.
You can.
He might identify with white culture,
right? And white culture identifies with him.
But shit, here's what I'm saying. At the end of the day, never as you always acknowledge two things: acknowledge the power that exists, and never undermine the power that you have. I'm telling you how this is the history of how white elites keep and retain power by making common everyday people think that they have no power.
I ain't saying we powerless.
No, you're making this. I'm literally telling you today how me and you exist. Our ancestors 100 years ago, hell, 50 years ago, couldn't exist like this.
Oh, fuck, that's a fact.
That's just.
Our cousins in Africa can't exist like
that's
this.
That's just an example of how far along white power has relinquished its brainwashing control over society. Is all I'm saying.
That's cool.
This is our time. So I think white power infrastructure is crumbling.
I'm intrigued to see what the next stage looks like.
I think we're gonna see it in 6 months.
Oh, that's ambitious.
I think we're gonna see it in 6
ambitious.
months. It's not all gonna fall down. It's not gonna, but it's starting to crumble. Because every other group, first off, we're outbreeding everybody. Not us.
Fuck, we not.
Not us. I'm talking about minorities are outbreeding white people.
Right, but you just said that's everybody against one group.
It is. They're at
But
the top, and they're at the top
if we don't have, if you saying
Mexicans identify more with black people than they do white people. I didn't say Spanish. I didn't say the Spaniards. I said Mexicans.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
Black and brown.
Tell that to them over in Dorville. Two niggas, you don't see no. You guys, I seen a Blaxican restaurant. That's it.
Hey,
So we got
white, and people are tired of seeing white people in power. That's the premise of white people. Except white people. But everybody else who's coming up in power, tired of seeing them motherfuckers in power. It's not saying that non-white people are capable. It's just saying that only seeing white people in power is something that all of us is way the fuck over.
I can get that.
It's happening. It's gonna happen, baby. It's gonna happen, baby. Trust me.
That's on Nip.
It's gonna happen on Nip.
So
TMC.
Well, how we closing this out?
All right, so we're closing this out with overall thoughts of the week that you want a black man to take with him for the rest of this week to the next episode.
Shit, my thought is it's going to be persistent throughout most of the year, which is be intentional. Be intentional about your growth. Because we tend to do things and get caught up in the cycle of where we're not intentionally making conscious decisions on a daily basis. So consciously love your family and consciously make those investments into yourself that allows you to grow. I don't care if you're trying to grow a soda selling business on the corner. Just do whatever you do intentionally and try to, in some way, shape, or form, think about how growth is going to happen in your life. And when you're able to do that, and sometimes you put your head together with somebody else who has a different perspective to take that initial thought to the next level. I heard Dr. Boyce Watkins talking about that. But do whatever you can and link up as a people intentionally. Even though it's difficult during the pandemic, that's something that we have to maintain is our connectedness to one another. So that's my thoughts.
My thought of the week is I want you to focus on patience and persistence. It's not supposed to work out when you want it to work out, and that's for a good reason that may be beyond your current understanding. But when it does work out, you're going to appreciate it when it does. But it's only going to happen that way when you're persistent. Got to be persistent through the patience. So that's the message I want you to have with you this week. Reflect on it, sit back, let things, you're not going to be Superman overnight. You're not going to have the great abs and the weight loss and the Instagram followers and everything overnight. You got to be persistent, and be patient, because trust me, you don't want to have what you want before you're supposed to have it, because when you get it, you might not be ready for it and you'll lose it forever.
Oh, I wanted to shout out Keisha Lance Bottoms for really trying to figure out in real time.
You heard what she said, that Luda, move.
Right, that's what I'm about to say. In real time, you looking at her face, struggle between I'm a real professional motherfucker and this is some shit that I was raised and grew up on.
Right.
And that move, bitch, get out the way.
She led before even the beat dropped.
She already, bro. You ready?
Move, bitch. Like you heard, you felt the beat come up through the face like that.
And then she kind of,
bitch.
she scaled back like, oh shit, I'm like, I done stepped outside of myself.
I was like, fuck it, let her rip. That's
shout out
all.
to her for representing.
We got a amazing Keisha.
With the Lance Bottoms. Shout out to the Bottoms.
And appreciate everybody for voting, man. We should be proud of Georgia. We made a difference.
Hey, that's what the blue for.
You know what I'm saying?
That's what all the
blue, baby. You know what the blue is for, baby. You know what? When them boys show up in blue, you know what time it is. And we talking about no game shit. We talking about some Georgia shit.
On Nip.